GodspeedNation.com. You can find them on the find the Godspeed Nation chat on Facebook, and we're gonna break bread right now. We're gonna get down, talk about some things that may be new to some of you and may be old for others. So please call in to the line. Please play this back on TalkShoe. And if we have any other callers on the line, please make yourself known at this moment.
Storm is here, me and the baby.
Hey, all right. We got Sister Storm in the house. How you feel?
I'm good.
All right, it's good to have you with us. Carbo, that was perfect, man. Nice show is brought to you by Godspeed Broadcast with your host, Poemoe, a.k.a. the High Priest, a.k.a. Poetic Hustler, with my man, Brother Manifestation, a.k.a. Carbo Light, a.k.a. Supreme Video Maker, a.k.a. Knowledge in the Night. And, today's topic, like he was saying, is Artificial Intelligence USA. And this topic is actually going to be a science. And hopefully everybody that's online, if you feel like it, add on, because we're going to add it to the science as we go. And it's a new jewel that we're going to present. And it's our first time ever building a science with the people that we share the information with. So this is kind of new. And we want to start digging into the aspect of artificial perception. And I think if we really can master this science, we can audit people's minds or really figure out the relationship issues, the relationships, one-on-one issues, just general relationships, like how you deal with people in public or how people deal with you. Because there's something going on between the way we see the world and the way the world sees us. There's something in the middle of that that's it's like a film that's supposed to line up, and it's two films, but one, they just tilt one to the left and the other to the right, and it's not quite lining up. It's the same film, but when you put them together, the picture is blurry. But if you take them apart and separate them, you can see them clearly. But if you put them together, the picture blurry. That's not a good thing. That's like unity is bad. You see what I'm saying? You gonna share anything, add on some, Carbo, before we get started?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, perception is everything. Perception is how we see things, our point of view. And without even our perception being artificial, it's still hard enough to decode things and navigate through life. So when you're dealing with the artificial perception, that can cause even more confusion. And like the brother Poetic was saying, the high priest was saying that this is a core science that is actually the root of a lot of the issues people have in dealing with people. Because as human beings, what kind of separates us from animals? I mean, we are animals in a sense, but what makes us a little different, I'll say, is our relationship with people, how we have relationships with people and whatnot. And so I'm really excited about this science that we're getting into right now, artificial perception.
The relationship, like we use that as relation and ship, meaning this journey we're going to go on. And big boat. And a lot of people's perception is that if I tell you this long enough, you'll believe that this little boat a big boat. So, and it used to be back in the day, it was harder to do that to people, but now it's become easy. So now, a lot of these relationships we have are false in a sense, because there's something like only being based off of my perception of you, what I want to see you as, versus who you really are. Yeah. And it's vice versa, who you want to see me as versus who I really am, like that. So it's weird because it's new. It's new in actual explanation and breaking it down as far as in general where everybody can understand. And it's weird because it's like you can be in a situation, just to generalize it before we go into the chamber, but you can be in a situation with somebody and they can have their own preconceived notion and perception of you that has nothing to do with you as a person standing and sitting right there next to them. It can be based off history relationships with other people, things being told to them, things being and showed to them things they heard and taking it all in as a perception of you when you can be acting the total opposite, but they would still treat you or respond to you as if you are the perception that they have. And that's a weird thing. So you looking at, like, unconsciously, you don't know what's going on. Y'all just getting into it. You know, you might say, this bitch don't know me or this nigga don't know me. But on the metaphysical, it's two people right there. That person that has a preconceived or artificial perception of you, if you're conscious of them having that, you can see the two people. You can see the person that she thinks you is or he thinks you is, and you know you. So it's like, when they start dealing with you in that manner, like as a conscious, like me being conscious, I can actually see that other person and actually get a form of an image of how they see me as outside of me being myself. And that becomes weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like the make. It's like it's artificial. You know, and it's like how can I see this person you see me as and actually be able to see them sitting next to me and deal with this? And then once you interact with that energy like that, once a person sees you like that, or once a person has an artificial perception of you, they're going to deal with you based on how they see you. So they think you're ignorant, they're going to deal with you ignorantly. But if you respond to them, that just as well verifies their false artificial perception. So that makes you ignorant in their eyes, and they're ignorant in whoever else sees you. You know, see what I'm saying? You have to damn near respond in a total opposite reaction to any of that shit. You have to throw that artificial perception off. Because just you interacting with that person with their artificial perception of you or preconceived notion of you makes you that person. Because you're not responding in a way of who you naturally are. You're responding in a way of who they think you are, who they want to see you as. Anything you want to add on, Carbo?
Yeah.
We're going to make it clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to make it clear right here because when we're talking about relationships too, the relate part is understanding or understanding of something, how you relate to it. And the whole thing about it is, like, the brother was saying, he's able to, as a conscious being, he's able to see outside the fact that this person may see me this way, but I'm not this way. So what that tells me is, my next question is, like, how is he able to do that? You know, and the thing about it is, the reason he's able to do it is because, or the reason I can do it too, kind of, is it's because we know that there's something that's maybe beyond the personality of the person. You know, I mean, not to say that the personality is not a real thing that we can relate to, but there's something behind that. Because if you really want to break down the word person or personality, it comes from the Latin word persona, a Greek word persona. And if you break that down, that came from the word mask. Because, like, back in the day, those Greek freaks, they used to wear those masks when they do, like, their little dramas and shows to talk about, like, human relationship, human psychology. So they wear a mask behind their real face to represent an emotion or a personality. So what I'm saying is, like, maybe this is going to sound weird to a lot of folks, but, you know, this is how we do it. We think outside the box here. The person's not real, you know what I mean? It's really not real. There's something behind that. Like, it's a mask we wear in order to relate to people. But because of the circumstances we're in, we think that's all there is. You know what I'm saying? So what we're saying is, in order to see these relationships and how they affect us and how we're not what others think we are all the time, you got to be able to look behind the person, behind your personality, and, like, what's really behind there. You know what I'm saying?
Yourself. Reflect on self. That's the way to do it. That's the way to be conscious of breaking the spell on anybody else is the first going to yourself. So first check to see if this person that they see is there. And that's what you do. You got to sincerely, like Pablo was saying to me earlier when we had a conversation about forgiveness, you got to forgive your lower chakra. Once you do that, the lower a witness that the person never witnessed you change. The person never knew that you could change in the blink of an eye, which is a resurrection. Just like that, Easter. You know what I'm saying? I just had Easter right there. I just changed. So now I'm gonna take to it what what I figured out about myself that's negative, and I'm gonna convert it into a positive. But I'm gonna still be right here with you, and I'm gonna respond to you with this new frame of mind, and watch how that other person responds to you as if you was the same, the old person, no matter how much time has gone past, to prove to them or let them see that you changed, and you will see that their artificial perception is locked. That it is an artificial perception. This person don't know that you're not hollering no more. But as soon as you open their mouth, why are you always hollering? Why are you hollering? He's like, well, I wasn't hollering. You see what I'm saying? So and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna keep it moving, but all of a sudden, the person you're noticing that this person is not witnessing the change in you or the actual act that you reflected upon yourself and died and resurrected, meaning quickly died of that old bullshit about you and came back real quick. It had to take a lifetime. It was in an instant. That's when you moving in the spiritual realm at about 1,000 miles an hour with the power line. So you're going to witness that, and then you're going to try to figure out, this is where an argument come in a lot with relationships. You trying to figure out, one person trying to figure out how to get this other person to see who they really are, and how to get them to see that their perception is off. And that's a hard task to do, is trying to break down another person's perception of you. So you got to actually keep catching them in the moment when they don't see, when they're calling you out, and your actions is not actually warranting their reaction, what they're saying out their mouth. So now you got to keep calling out every moment. Every moment, nope, I didn't holler. Or you got to call it before it happened. I'm not finna holler. So before you say why you hollering, I'm going to just say this real calm. And you have to do that shit. And that person, you're going to see them tweaking because they response is used to snapping out the body, but now you're talking in a way where it's holding that back. So now they're angry for no fucking reason because now you just shook up their emotions. They want to be mad, but your tone didn't bring out anger. So it's like, what the fuck, what I do here? But some people just override it. Some people override it and see you for what they want to see you in order for them to be who they think they is. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to give an example of church people. They're in church. The pastor say, we shouldn't go to the club. We shouldn't drink, or we shouldn't do this. They just came from the club. So what they'll do to keep that artificial intelligence, the artificial perception, to keep that program running, it'll actually make them, or they will subconsciously block out the preacher saying that. So type of way they won't even think about that no more. They'll think about everything else he's saying, but they won't think about that. And if a lot of times he breaks through the artificial perception of him saying certain things they know they have done, but they want to be righteous by the Lord's eyes, they'll stop going to that church and go to one that suits their needs, that doesn't talk about, make them feel contradicting or guilty about the things they've done. So basically what they're doing is a lot of church people go through it where they'll say, well, God know I'm only human. So now they're reinforcing their artificial perception. Meaning is, I can go out and keep fucking up, and I'm going to just say, God know I'm only human. God know my heart, I'm only human. God know. And that's just like reinforcing your artificial perception, which is another way of saying I'm not going to learn from life's mistakes, which is wisdom, which is the second sphere, under the middle nexus. You're not going to learn from life mistakes, or what. I'm not going to gain wisdom from situations. And that's one way to break the artificial perception. So bring it home to y'all. Like I had a situation a while ago when I was younger with my baby mom, and it was the fashion of that, I don't do shit for my shorty. I don't take them a kid and, shit like that, and good motherfucker, good, father, shit like that. But even, and the father too, he was under the Hebrew Israelite, so he was real religious with it. To me, he broke every law, but still talk to me about the laws. And I see how his perception of me by being me, he was black, but he hated niggas like niggas. So he was like thinking I'm a thug, and his perception of me made him react to me as if I was this, even though I showed him I wasn't. So now back to the baby moms with these artificial perception of me. I'm gonna keep it 100 with. She hasn't bought my child anything since the baby been born, really. Put it like that. Second of all, my baby stayed with me. So how in these measurements of me, my actions, she still sees me as a no good motherfucker. Her argument is you buy her too much shit, or she can't go to your grandma's funeral because she has to go to school. I don't feel she should miss school to go to the funeral. Do you see this artificial fucked up perception? So what I have to do is think of creative ass ways to deal with this. Because if I snap off and fuck her up, then I'm feeding into the artificial perception that this nigga crazy. So now it looks like, oh yeah, he just coming to the house beating the shit out of her. He's wild as hell, goon mode, and they're gonna keep using that. No matter if that was the first time or the last, no matter what. If it's just one time, they're gonna use that to keep reinforcing. No matter what I do in my life, I could be a minister. They're gonna still see me as that nigga that just beat the shit out of his daughter when she told him what she told him. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. So, in saying that, look at what I deal with, just to get you an idea of how I came to study this. Because I said, how is it possible that I move a total different way and they still see me as this way? How the fuck is that possible? He's a whole nother motherfucker. He got a pack his pants sagging and shit. You know, he got 2 blunts in his mouth. I really I ain't on this. So who is this dude? And I'm trying to figure out how is they seeing this. So it's messing up the actual relationship because I'm outside of myself looking at the person they see. So and if I deal with it according to their ignorance, then that just verify the artificial perception. So I have to say some shit like, he say some shit like, well, you know, if you don't study the word of the Lord, you're going to hell. And the good book said you should eat this and you shouldn't do that. And I might say something like, well, you know, a robin will come out, and that means it's going to get warm. See, I have to do crazy shit like this to offset that. He's looking for fuck. And I say, you know, some little shit like, well, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree either. And then, you know, his perception started thinking because, he basically talks this shit. But when you see the reality, like I always say, fuck with his mouth talking about wash his hands. The reality ain't nowhere near the word he kicked. But
what it sounds like he's doing is, in that example, is he's picking out, like, he may see you with like the peli on or like the starter cap on backwards, and he may just focus in on that little thing and think that's all you about. And that's what a lot of people do when they're uncomfortable with something or feel awkward.
Well, they need to feel better. That's a mechanism for me to feel better. That's a feel better mechanism. I gotta look down on you so I can feel good about me. You see what I'm saying? Because if I feel we equal, then who the fuck is me? You see what I'm saying? So I got to look down on you so I can feel good about me. So when you, like you say, the pelly tail, these items do hold visuals. These items do hold like power. But like I say about perception, we can go into the actual the nigga, the hood mode, our perception, this basic relationship dealing with each other. Artificial perception is fucked up because I don't know about females, but I do, know females. But the nigga can have on some Jordans and be walking, or he can have on some Jordans and a big old chain that looks like it costs about $150,000 if it's real, but he don't got a cop. But because he got these shoes on and this big ass chain, in her mind, he even thinks this in his mind that he look like $1 million, and she's not going to see past the fact that we going to your mama's basement, but your shoes cost $200, and according to that chain, they cost $150,000. You see what I'm saying? So we kind of let this shit slide off the artificial perception. But, and I'm going to give you another example. If Jordans cost $50 or $22, would they really be like Jordans? Would people really be wearing the motherfuckers? You see what I'm saying? Look how fucked up that is. That if I charge you more money for these clothes, you going to buy them. But if I charge you affordable price, you ain't going to really want them. So the perception, in the artificial perception is that is, the nigga put on some really regular shoes and a t-shirt, go outside, he feels shitty about himself. So if he go buy $200 shoes and put on a $600 pair of pants and a $300 t-shirt, now he feels good. His artificial perception of himself is, I am a star. I am a rapper. My shoes cost $200. My outfit cost $8. I am the shit. But his reality is hell. His city of Israel. Is this shit real? Shit everywhere. His crib, he's standing in the fucking basement with sleeping on the floor. Everybody got the mat, the mat on the floor, no bed frame lit. But just off the artificial perception of these are the Jordans, and I got on the New Robinsons, it changed his whole reality of who he think he is and how he think the world see him. He don't know the white man see him as like, look at this funny looking ass dude. He don't know that, you see, but he don't know some women looking at him like this clown. But he's not, his artificial perception it's fucked up because a lot of women got enough sense to know that just because you got on that shoes and them clothes don't make you a man or don't make you who the fuck you think you is while you smiling talking about what's hey baby girl. You see what I'm saying? Because the other day when I seen you with your regular clothes on, your McDonald's outfit, it wasn't baby girl, you kind of had your head down. So you see how certain items can change a person's perception, an artificial perception of themselves. You want to add on, Pablo? Pablo, you still there?
Yeah, those things are. I'm here, brother. Those things are metaphors for what's going on and with the person's like you said, thoughts about themselves. Like we can take for in that example when a dude goes out and he's wearing the Jordans, $200 Jordans and the herringbone chain and all that, shit. He's looking good, and that can represent like your persona, like I was saying. The mask you show other people, but in reality, if you go back to his house, he's living in the basement where the mattress is on the floor and there's like sewage smell down there, mold and whatnot. And that can represent his true self where he's at right now. Like the world know he think he's like this and that, like he's balling out of control. But when he goes back home to his true self, his house, he go out. He has a lot of work he needs to be done. It ain't a comfortable place to live. These things are metaphors for what's going on.
For what's going on, and a lot of women that now is boiling over to the point women is the perception is so he done gave out a perception so false or so great that she'll see this mattress and see his crib and still think in her mind some type of way she'll overlook that this is gonna be okay. You see what I'm saying? This gonna be cool because it's like back in the day, there's a lot of things we wouldn't accept that goes on now because of our perception. As years go by, our perception become more shallow. It become more artificial. You see what I'm saying? And we don't deal with each other normally no more. We deal with each other like it's a commercial world. You know how the commercial is when you got the soap and she in the kitchen and the kitchen is super clean and all this shit that the cut, the whole thing turn around. When people think that's an actual crib, people don't never know that the commercial gonna end. They think that she's gonna go upstairs and go to bed when they don't know that's a fucking commercial. The house ain't preppy all the time, right? But we living in a commercial world where everything is on the surface, which give us an artificial perception of everything we actually touching, or actually thinking. It's not what we actually seeing. It's what's been told, programmed for us to see. You see what I'm saying? And right. I think a brother Tobias had put something in the Rick described something earlier today to me, and he said it's funny how the alpha males find themselves still in the Samson and Delilah situation. Now, an alpha male, it's in his nature not to go for that bullshit. It's in his nature not to be sitting there up under a female, crying, whining, and begging and shit like that. It's in his nature not to take too much shit from his wife, the shit that Samson would take. But with the woman, what he was saying that he's seen instances with a woman have an alpha male and treat him like a beta. And wonder why she getting her ass whooped. You are hitting his core chamber. You hitting his core nerve. If you sitting there where he or he showed you he done fucked the nigga up, and you gonna sit here and flirt with a nigga in front of him, what do you think gonna happen? So this is where the alpha male has a serious issue because he has to leave this woman alone or deal with her from a Samson standpoint. And over time, if he don't leave her alone, and he study trying to work it out because he's going off the cookie. He study trying to make it work because he's going off the cookie. He's going to find himself Samson. All because she's playing him like Samson, and he has to respond like Samson. Because how else would he respond other than, why you do that? You know I love you. You shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. At first he was whooping her ass, but he's so tired of doing that. Now he just said, baby, you know I love you. I just want this to be right. So she has made him, through her artificial perception, a Samson-ass nigga at these 2 weeks. But the real beta male, it ain't gonna last long, because she gonna get tired of him whooping her ass. And he gonna think she crazy. He gonna say something wrong with her, because she don't know me. And when people say that, that's what they trying to tell you is, they got an artificial perception of me. When they say, this motherfucker don't know me. All this time I've been with this motherfucker, they don't know me. That's because what they're trying to say is they have an artificial perception. And when both parties have the artificial perception, the situation get lost in the bliss because you never know how to come back to a ground or a land or a country or come back to. Meaning is we can't sit at the table and figure this out because our own perception of who we think we are is artificial, and then who we think we looking at is artificial. So they have us looking at each other, and they have a holographic screen in between us that's showing us some total different shit in the movie. So you got the man sitting there maybe cooking a steak and putting it on the table, and the female might see him as taking it out and putting it on the plate, bloody as hell with the knife. Like, nigga, what is you doing? And he like, baby, I cooked the steak, I'm putting the butter on it. Oh. And then what you look like you was doing, and he like, what the fuck it look like I was doing? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We see it.
I mean, but everyone has this. Everyone has this thing. Even if normally everyone has this thing about constructing a fake identity, because like when you're born, you're thrown into a world that's crazy. I mean, most of us were born in hospitals. Can you imagine how that feels? You know, to a little baby, never been breathed air outside, and the first thing they see is the operating room with a doctor with a mask and all this crazy stuff being yanked out. So from that moment on, we construct these we construct this story or an identity as armor to protect us from the trauma that we experience. And as we get older and older, we just put more armor to protect us from these traumas we experience through life. That's why what makes us a little different here at Godspeed Nation, I think is we're kind of at a point where we can deconstruct those war stories we tell. Like, you know, I can't believe I made it from this situation. You know, my friend had this situation and we made it out. You know what I'm saying? It's because we're actually consciously trying to deconstruct these armor that we put up in order to figure out like what's the source of this trauma here. You know, so we can grow from it.
You know, Ron Hubbard called them engrams. Things that's been implanted or influence that's been implanted in your mind about things that caused by things that happen that's really traumatic. It doesn't leave; it just imprint. It's like when they brand a person. I call it branding. It's when Smith brand your ass a couple of times. I mean, you got stars. Meaning it's healed, but you can still see it was there. And to add on to what Carbo was saying is a lot of in our community we do construct an artificial perception of ourselves because the real reality of how we are told to see ourselves is way too traumatic. You see what I'm saying? And you have situations in Chirac where the people say, well, you know, if you ain't got the Jordans on and this and that, you ain't shit. So you got to have them. How is that? How have we come of a nation of Black Panthers, Fred Hampton, Angela Davis and stuff, and like that, to niggas people who's talking about if you don't got a pair of these shoes or these type of pants, you ain't shit. So if I don't have this on in my day, that means I'm not nothing. So it costs me $200 to feel like I'm the shit, or to feel like I am the star, or I am, you know, because when a brother, you gotta understand something about the conscience. When a man standing there and he pressed himself, you gotta know he's looking at himself, telling himself that. You gotta know that. He's like, yeah, Joe, I got these, you know, Kanye West is on. You know, he's telling himself this shit, you know, or like a brother in the club. He look normal compared to every other brother in there. A lot of them got nice cars outside. So in his mind, he's walking around and he got to keep reinforcing that image of his whip outside to give him the confidence to keep coming at these women. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know, I got dubs outside. This is what he tell himself, shit. I'm a baller. You know, I do this for real. Hey, baby girl, you know, what's your name? You got to keep reinforcing this matrix, this imprint, because that gives him his confidence. And hopefully, she's kind of playing him in the club. And all he's thinking is, now I got to get her to get outside to see my car. So that always be the first brother who leave the club early, run outside, park in front of the damn club, and then sit there. That be them type of brothers. You know what I'm saying? You can see their car. And the woman is that, I like the car. Damn, the car looks nice. The rims are nice. And then she get in the car and she go with the nigga. I don't understand it. Is you attracted to the car? Do you want to fuck the car? Or do you want to, you know, you ain't even gave a chance to see what type of nigga in the car. This straight Mason inside. Ooh. He grimy, scratching his balls, digging in his nose, and the car got you accepting it. So think about that artificial perception. That, oh, shit, he ain't did nothing about a car and then went to the store and got some rims and put them on it. That's really the reality of the situation. Anybody
Too Short has a song about that. He has a song called "She Ain't Tripping Off Me. She Rather Fuck My Car." That's straight to the point.
And he knew back then, right? Like, look at Too Short. You mean tell me? Because if Too Short walked down the street, no woman say nothing to him. Well, no woman say nothing to him, but he in his Cadillac now with the kid on it and his own popping. So it do make you ask the question, even the brother that's entertaining the lady that's getting in the car, like, wow, I mean, you really like this car. I mean, do it turn you on? Is it, say you want to rub it or how, what, you know?
I mean, but like, is it the car? It's not the car that the woman, the female, Delilah, whatever you want to call her, wants to fuck. It's the pockets. I mean, this just me, outside of looking in, it throws around, just speaking from woman's point of view, or bathroom talk. It's not the car. It's the person that's affording the car. What you buy, that reflects off your pocket, your bank account, That's the mind anyway.
Okay. So the perception of the car.
Right.
So it got her looking at him like, oh, he can do this. He can make things happen.
Right. She like that.
But we all know from the past experiences of the car she jumped in before that nothing really happened, right?
Right.
Right.
That's all they had in the car. Sometimes all the guy had was a car. He may have a dope ass car, but he got no, I don't know, well, 9 times, not always, but most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes back to like how y'all started the conversation also, the perception, if they looking at the car and thinking, okay, well, he can afford the car, he got money. Okay, it might didn't work with the last guy, but why not try it again? Maybe this time he got it. If not, I mean, I could just ride around and look cute in the car. I mean, that's what they do.
That's cool. We're gonna ride with that. Now what about him being all yours? See, the perception of you thinking, okay, he got a car, he got this nice, that. What makes the woman feel like, well, he's gonna be totally with me? See, her perception is off. It's artificial to think that it's gonna be only you. You see what I'm saying? Why do y'all go to the point where it be only you? You gotta think. So you said all of this stops with you. All this hustling and all this money he got stops with you.
They're not thinking about this. The only thing they're thinking about is what they're going to look like
what
in his car,
they want to believe,
and
what they want to hear.
While I'm riding in his car.
Even though the phone going off, 100 going north under the way you act, they can make themselves not hear that, right? Because they got to have it. I don't hear that.
No. Lost.
Okay, but then at the
they're
time,
not thinking about the future. They're thinking about the immediate gratification right there, I guess.
Right, Carbo. They're poor, right? They're trying to manifest something that's not even there.
Based off of artificial perception, both each other tricking each other.
Right.
Okay. I get what you said.
What they call it nowadays? I ran off with the plug, on the plug, or something like that.
So you get
basically, I get what I want and I run off.
That's the raw, right?
There you go.
Okay, I get what I want and I run off. But at the perception level of it is, she's the man for him, he's the woman for her. He said, my last girlfriend did this, he did. I don't do nothing of that. I don't do none of that. I'm the total opposite. And he said to her, as he's talking to her, he's really explaining himself under the game act. Like, well, I like to do a lot of the school, but she likes to fight. And he's telling her that he don't like to fight. He's like, he's really popping his weed. After that, and she's verifying it, saying that, well, I don't like to fight either. I ain't this and I ain't that. But in that perception mix-up is the question each other asking themselves deep down is why the fuck you by yourself there? I mean,
right, because that's what I like to do.
Right, if you saw the girl for me, why are you by yourself? And she thinking the same thing. Well, you see with all these rims, all this money, you ain't got no girl. So it's a tricky. The perception becomes very tricky because you artificially trick yourself to fall into the situation. And then once y'all feel y'all got a little power over each other on the emotional side, then you pull the guns out. Who the fuck is that? Who is she? Who is that? I thought you said you ain't like to argue. And that come out. Whole relationship messed up. And we keep doing it over until we find out that by ourselves because we've been dealing with each other off of artificial perception.
Right. And then when those that hasn't, that meet different, speaking from a Takata point of view, those type individuals are misunderstood, or taken as too different. You know, they so different. You know, it's like fire. You know, it's too hot to even touch because one is not used to something being its opposite as far as what we on right now. You know, what you call it, artificial perception. They so used to fake, you know, they can't take real. They don't know, you know, how to accept real loyalty.
You be the black sheep. That's what happened. You become the black sheep. The real one become the black sheep of the situation of the family. The real one always become the black sheep in the midst of all this false shit. Because, like you say, the real is too real. It's too, how they put it, why don't you just let me, they call it live or fantasize. You know, like a person that like to tell you so they're going to do something. Y'all will talk about it, and you will say something like, well, maybe, you know we ain't going to do none of this, because last time, every time we do this, you know, we don't do none of this, and the person might be like, man, come on, go on with that, you know. Really, they know you're right, but they just want to live in that moment that they might do what the fuck they said they was going to do.
Oh, they got a zine for it now. If I don't know, fuck how it turns out. That's the new thing. Just do whatever. Fuck how it turns out. Do it, and we'll deal with the consequences later.
Oh, shoot. That's just supreme fucked up. That is highly messed up.
Right.
That is send-off man thinking. That is definitely dangerously thinking. But that's, and the, another thing, the spin-off what you were saying is how the gangs, niggas relate, really gangs of brothers relate is that everybody's scared to tell each other no. Everybody's scared to say no. So if it's like, let's knock this old man ass out and shoot him in the head, everybody in the car want to say no, but they're not going to say no based off the artificial perception of how they feel they're going to look to themselves and to the other guy looking at them. So whoever say no, which is the one who is like, man, hell no, y'all deal what? We going to go to jail or we going to go home and play PlayStation? Which one you want to do? Because if we're going to go to jail, we might as well just walk to the jail. Either one look like the scary one or the pussy. So everybody feel like this.
2016, that's when Sahu yells out, fuck how it turns out, and they just do whatever.
Right, 448. Why do you think the situation come out to them crying and shit? You know what I'm saying? When they do that. When you be like, okay, y'all murdered the boy, y'all did this heinous crime, you was walking around kicking and shit. Now that you in here, you crying and shit, and the question is, you don't even know why you did it. Now you don't even, you know what I'm saying? You don't even, you're telling on your boys, and your boy telling on your boys, and now you don't even know. Matter of fact, you're telling on yourself. That's a problem. But go past that, you don't even know why you did it. Now you crying. What happened to this feeling before you did this shit? I should have been there. I wish I wasn't there. Something told me. Well, I know you was thinking this when it was going on, or prior to it going on, but what happened? The artificial perception kept each other in that matrix lock and hold. Meaning is, if I say something, their perception of me is going to be I'm a pussy. But a lot of times the brother don't know, they already might think you're a pussy. It's just your artificial perception got you thinking you was done it because you pulled out the water gun on the nigga. Like nobody didn't see it was a water gun. You see what I'm saying? It's funny.
Yeah, because it's real funny, because it's like 5-year-old mind trapped inside of adult bodies, you know,
exactly.
in adult bodies. And they're constantly doing the same thing that they should have learned, you know, in toddler years.
Yeah, you touch that fire, you're going to get burnt. So that goes back to why I say the way to break the artificial perception mentality is with wisdom. I mean, how can you, this line connects to this line, connects to this line, connects to this time, and you see how it works. And once you see how it works, how can you fall up under it? So a lot of times wisdom is taken very lightly, meaning learning from life situations. Like, it's taken very lightly.
Would you just describe, Brother Poemoe, is what, to me, is the definition of metaphysics, is finding the cause behind things, behind the physical. By deconstructing and going back, disconnected here, this and that. That's true metaphysics. I mean, it isn't always like some magical, like spectacular, show or anything. It
never was. It never was. It's all humanly. See, the perception of Jesus and walking on water and all that cross shit, that's what got us thinking it's magic. That's what got it spent out of the reality of our grasp is that Santa Claus shit they feed us, the false perception, the artificial perception. Because right, if you believe Jesus is going to come out of the sky, you believe in Santa Claus, your reality of perception is off. That is off. That ain't. Why would it happen? Why would it happen then and not happen now? So the fucking you believe this though. So you waiting on Jesus, and if he don't come, you going to heaven. So you going to a little place in the sky where you finna dance around the clouds, and this is what you saving your whole life for, is to die to do what? Live. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. If you the perception, and the kids already coming out with this correct perception, asking these questions. But if the question is too great, like what they did to Jesus is, you can get your ass out of here talking that, because basically they can't answer the question. So they basically just tell you get out of the room, you ain't grown or whatever. They shoot you off. That's what they did to quote unquote Jesus back in the day. The same thing when he asked the wise man, what is A? He talking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He like, but what is A? And they couldn't answer the question immediately. So they got pissed. Like, damn, he got us thinking. Get his ass out of here. He a troublemaker, a Beelzebub.
Right.
All because he asked the pastor, you talking about giving away gators and stuff. How come you don't, your car better than mine? He want to kick you out the spot. You can't explain that. You can't answer them questions. I'm supposed to be like, I'm paying tithes. I'm giving you $150. Well, my light bill is $175, but I gave you $150. Now my light's off. And God told me that I gave you money to pay your bill. What you do is you give it to the pastor. So that's your problem. And you have to pay how do this work? How do this work? I gave you $150 and I can't pay my light. So where we going with this? You gonna give me some? You gonna pay them or they just hope? Or do I go pray for some more money?
Believe in Jesus.
Yeah, believe in Jesus. Now that actually to a holographic kind of a channel. How do that look? How do perception? How do he do this? What do he do? Believe in Jesus. Okay, in his perception, he tries to figure out first, how do I do that? How do I physically or mentally do this? Believe in Jesus. Believe in what? Believe Jesus what? Believe what? Believe in
He's
what?
gonna pay my light bill. My light bill will get paid.
So now
check that one right there. He said belief. That's the word life.
But I gotta see him doing this.
There's a reason for that. There's a difference to know something and to believe something.
But I gotta
people know Jesus, but they may say they believe in it. There's a difference between knowing and believing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How you gonna believe in something you can't visualize? So what Jesus' image do you get? I know you be trying to get the black Jesus, but you keep getting the one with the sandals with the white blonde hair walking up the Poemoe. That's the damn problem. You study trying to get this nigga out your head. He study walking up. He's like, wait a minute. It's hard to see the black man as God. It's hard to see a black Jesus walking up, because then you still got to see him with the robe and the long hair, like on that show. What's that black Jesus they got? With the black dude. You see how they still got him with the blonde hair? Why you still got the afro? Yeah, so it's hard to get this shit out your mind, and it fucks with your perception. Become an artificial perception, because now you got a white Jesus with Jordans on walking up the Poemoe. That's the only black you can get out of him that won't leave. That at least he can put some J's on in your image, in your imagination of this situation or your prayer. But to actually see a black guy, you don't even know what they look like, because they never showed you that. The black is
exactly. I want to use this for an example. Like, I had a pastor, and I used to be in high school with him. He was a fellow peer. He probably got maybe 5 years on me. So he about 30 at the most, 35. But anyway, I posted a variety of posts on Facebook, and I had one with a little children they were playing, and it was an unk. In the caption read, "Are you teaching your children the truth?" So I'm pretty for sure he's seen, pictures or whatever that I posted, personal pictures. But he got in my inbox last night, Easter Sunday, and he asked, he said, "Do you have children?" I replied back too, because I'm automatically, okay, you trying to figure something out. So I gave it a little minute. I'm thinking he going to come back with something else. He never came back with anything. So I asked, what you trying to figure out? He said, "Oh, I just seen you posted a picture, with a little girl." So therefore, that let me know, you kind of feel guilty as a preacher yourself, because you're watching my post and I offended you, by saying, "Are you teaching your children the truth?" with this You're thinking I'm throwing shade, not knowing that I have children that I am teaching the truth to. It kind of fucked him up, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he was trying to figure something out, He thought he.
He didn't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna throw that artificial perception. I took it as he thought I was giving off, artificial information.
Yeah, so he went down your news feed, but he went farther down. Takata, he went farther down your news feed. First, he's gonna talk shit, but then you seen that information you shared. That's the science that they study under the Masonic order. When you were 33-degree Mason, you can go in higher degrees. You study up under Islam and Christianity. That means they won't tell you that they get out on all that. They get out on the too. So when they do see that, he wonder how the fuck you know this. That's what he wondered. And he trying to figure out what he can tell you. But as you scroll down your news feed, you so far gone and fucked his head up. That's why he got quiet. It was crickets and shit. He didn't know what. He started learning. Yeah, he started learning from call himself teaching. And that kind of shook his ass up. Now he's sleepwatching. I can tell you that. That's wild.
And he gave himself away. You know what I'm saying? That's why.
That's why I say that.
Only what I asked. What you trying to figure out?
By him not saying it, nothing explains it all.
Hell yeah.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like crickets. It's like shit. His mind started going. The nigga with the backwards clock came. That's what it looked like. It was so much familiarity in the things he was taught behind the scenes, depending on how high a degree he is, which don't sound like he had a higher degree. It was so much things he heard that he didn't understand, and as he scrolled down your page, that secret information came back up. It fucked his head up. That's basically what happened. The one that's spit on the cross is the one that get initiated. So they got the cross right there, and they say spit on it. You in the line, you don't spit, you go stand over there. You spit on it. You don't spit, you spit on it. You stand over there. The one that spit on it, they know higher that they evolved. The other one that don't spit on it show that they're still under the iron claw. So they let their ass sit over there. So they always be the pastor's assistant or the Sunday school teacher.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I guess it's crazy.
Go ahead. Anyway, the artificial perception though is like I said, it's very dangerous in our community because nothing is the way we see each other. It's not real. The way the world see us, it's not real. The way we view, especially as blacks, is not real. And we don't see nothing as for. I don't really think we see anything for really what it is. A lot of females, they have situations with their baby fathers and stuff. They feel that they don't let their baby fathers see the kids. They artificially perceptionalize that shit in their mind that that's right, some type of way, depending on whatever things they come up with. And they ride with it, and I'm just giving an example because I don't see a lot of brothers do this, but they talk to their friends, and under the Artificial Perception Act, he's telling them a half-ass story but wanting the truth. I don't understand how that works. I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to tell you what I want you to hear in order to what? For you to tell me the truth or tell me what I want to hear. And if y'all want to talk to each other like that, you might want to talk to yourself. Might even call somebody and tell them a half-ass truth based off you want to get the truth or get the way they see it, based off you constructing the story the way you want them to hear. That don't make no sense. And even if she did tell the girl the full story, and the girl was bogus, may say, I don't want him to see his shorty because I don't feel that that's right. He spent time with his kid. How crazy that sounds. The other girl, I don't think it's fair that they allowed her to say that and don't say shit about it. Like, girl, yeah, I know that's right. Did you hear what she said? That's what they won't even bring him up on charges. Like, hold on, bitch, what you say? How you gonna say he bogus for wanting to see his shorty? Y'all just go along with each other, so that reinforces the artificial perception of the whole situation. So a lot of situations look like, man, why they let that girl act like that? How come her family don't say nothing to her? And the family may say, well, that's my sister, that's my daughter, that's my brother, that's this. Just because his family don't make the ignorance right. What I'm trying to say, the artificial perception, even in family, that just because you
we can take what you just said in forms of, because I mean it's pretty much established that we on this line are pretty much aware of the first matrix. How people are locked into their robotic ways. So with that said, we're at a point now where we're dealing with a lot of people who quote unquote say they're conscious and whatnot. However, there's a thing I see happening where there's a second matrix where people who know a lot of information but not necessarily know how to pop lock it, and they start having a constructed artificial perception of what it means to be awake. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to get at is as being for us here, for being like awake to a lot of the bullshit that the majority, the 85% is not aware of. Like, we got to be not careful, but be aware of those type of things happening in our community too, as well.
Of what happened in our community? Of what?
Being kind of like being what they call it, hubris, being so confident that overconfident that we miss blind spots about ourselves. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, because we know a lot. Because we know a lot, we think that that's all there is to know. You know what I'm saying? So, and I see that happening a lot. I mean, I've done it too. Like, I thought like, oh man, these group of people, they don't know what I know, so it makes me like, you know, supreme and this and that. Where in fact that, like, just by thinking like that, that's not a person that would be awake. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're not awake. That's a light level of suppression. That's still a light level of putting yourself to sleep. Because now the ego's still ruling. Like, you're halfway there, but the ego still got 60% of the stop. It's a 50-60 thing. You know what I'm saying? He still got 60%. So you conscious because you almost there. You 50-60, but he still got that 110%. So he's still ruling the situation. You still got to check in with him before anything moves. And that's what we're going to call that.
Because it's like we're talking about Jordans and stuff, but there's an equivalent in the conscious community of wearing Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like, my friends had coined the term spiritual materialism. Like, a lot of people be wearing like their spiritual lessons they learned, their acclimates they learned from spirituality as like clothes. You know what I'm saying? For their spirit. So much so it seems like they're just rocking it just to show off, rather than it's a comfortable way, easy way for them to navigate the world. They're not doing it for that. They're just doing it just because they look cool. You know, they seem enlightened and whatnot.
I want to help manifest. I want to help manifest give like a better example. I mean, I want to give it I want to give an example from like a real point of view. Take myself, okay, I'm at the club or I'm going to a party, okay. You have those that, me myself personally, okay, I don't go out that much. So therefore, say when I do step out, say I'm half dressed, it's summertime, okay, I'm still blending in, you know, but yet I'm still me. But because I'm out in this club and I have on the little dress, you know, I'm showing the cleavage, you know, whatever. You know, you have those that will approach one like myself, you know, like the post said, you know, you still you putting yourself back to sleep. It's not me that's putting myself back to sleep. It's those that are not used to being in one's presence, like myself, that think they are going to put me back to sleep, you know. Okay, well, she out. I didn't call her out. Let me creep up under her. Let me talk up under her clothes. But yet, when I give off that same demeanor, you know what I'm saying, that same preach that I preach, or that same lesson that I teach or put out there, so to speak, it still throws them off. So therefore, it's like, okay, well, if you talking like this, why you dress like that? Because I still have a life to live. I still want to have fun too. I still want to turn up too. But that doesn't mean, you know, I'm going to disrespect myself. You know, I'm still a hotel.
Yeah.
It throws them off, you know, and it's not that I'm showing out. It's just that me.
You fucking up their perception.
Right.
You the perception, right? You knocking it off. They talking about what's under, you know, let's go, you know, to the crib. You talking about
with that math like
honey, right? You like, wait, do you think lifting TT honey or do it need a lot of lemon? Well, how much do you? And he like, what the fuck that? What? You don't, you know, you fucking up his perception. He's like, man, wait a minute. You know, it's like it's like me riding with 20s on, with 32s now, 64 rims, and you know, and I'm riding around and I got my jewels on and I'm beating, but then a little man get in the car with me before he, you know, becomes Sahu and, you know, and any of that, and he look in the back seat, he see books. It kind of throw his whole perception off. You know, he's like, whoa, what the fuck? And I used to do that. You know, they used to see books, and I just be sitting there, hand him a book, and we'll ride. And he didn't know, I see it in his eyes, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to see the situation, and I could tell I was deconstructing his artificial perception. I just didn't know what it was. Because he was looking at the book, but I could see his eyes looking at the radio and looking around in the car. But he was looking at the book, and he piece the idea together because he thought he was going to get a pistol or a bag of dope or something. You know, boys in the hood what you see on TV and shit. So it kind of messed with his mind, you know, and I know that image stick with him throughout their life because they never seen no shit like that before. That's Takata, you know, with the dress on and asking the niggas who live to see me more lemon or honey. And he talking about, if you go home with me, he kind of don't know what the hell to say. You know, talking about,
yeah.
it becomes an unusual, attractive thing as a man when you go through that.
Yeah, because the reason I was saying that too is because I bring back to when I was going to college. Kind of like be careful what you wish for, you might get it. Like I grew up around people in the hood. However, like there was always something a little different about me. Even though I can get down with them, I still like study knowledge and whatnot, self knowledge. So I finally went to college, and I found I found people. A lot of people in my classes were kind of like the people I thought I wanted to be around. Spiritual and all that, and because I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland and San Francisco, and that's like where the hippie movement started. You know what I'm saying? So that consciousness is still there in the city. So when I was going to school up in the city, a lot of these hippie folk would, at first glance, you see them with the beads and talking about consciousness and all that. However, after spending some time with them, I realized that was kind of like a show, because a lot of these people were preaching love and all that, but they were so closed off and so, you know what I mean, not about what they were talking about. So ever since then, I kind of had a red flag always came up when people would be overly, I'm all about the one. Consciousness, all this stuff, because I saw so many people that they quote unquote saying they're living that lifestyle, but what I saw, what my close friends saw, it didn't add up. So what I'm saying is, I hope that doesn't. I mean, I don't really want that to happen with some of us. In a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's what I meant by fire. That's when we turn into fire. Even though we still blend in, but yet we still follow our own mind. Those that don't know how to take it, that's where the fire comes in. They're you can't touch them, they hot. You can't touch her, she an alien. Or don't hang out with him, he an alien. Just stupid shit like that. And I mean, me personally, who cares? Because either you gonna catch up or you gonna get left behind. Because it's all gonna change eventually, and that's what. Speaking on what you saying, manifesting, that's the mind frame you have to eventually adapt to being the person that you are or the person that you're trying to work towards. It's finna be their world, regardless whether they like it or not. That's what we're working towards, that world.
Right.